Welcome to this week's Explainer. Honestly, I am so excited to jump into this one with you. We are heading into week 2, and we're going to navigate the fascinating, beautifully complex worlds of narration, dialogue, and speculative fiction. If you've ever found yourself wondering how an author manages to just get right inside your head and make you feel a character's exact joy or anxiety, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're moving way beyond just figuring out what happens in a story and really diving into how that story is actually built.
So, here is our roadmap for the week. We're going to start things off with our foundational literary tools, move into speculative fiction, check out some AI fiction, and then we'll wrap it all up with a clear breakdown of your deliverables. Nice and straightforward.
Our core objective this week isn't just to passively read. We want you to be active. Think of yourself as a literary detective. We're going to analyze how point of view and different forms of narration totally influence how we understand a story. We'll examine dialogue to uncover those hidden power dynamics and tension, and crucially, we're going to figure out how these wild fictional settings actually connect to our very real everyday anxieties.
All right, let's just dive right into Section 1, Literary Tools. We're focusing on mastering narration and dialogue. First up is narration. You can kind of think of this as the invisible hand of the author. It's not just a camera recording events, it's the storytelling voice that entirely shapes the meaning of the text. Whether it's first-person, third-person limited, or this big omniscient view, that choice dictates everything. It controls our access to a character's thoughts, their emotions, and, maybe most importantly, their limitations. It dictates what we don't know, too.
Think of narration and dialogue as this constant, fascinating push and pull. On one side, you have narration giving you internal access, shaping the emotional perspective and controlling that narrative distance. On the other side, dialogue. That's where things get external. Dialogue reveals the conflict. It exposes personality, manipulation, intimacy, and all those messy hidden power dynamics between characters.
Let's see how these tools are actually used in Section 2, Speculative Fiction, where we'll be exploring the story Bridesicle by Will McIntosh. Speculative fiction is honestly such a fascinating genre because it works a bit like a funhouse mirror. It uses imagined futures, alternate realities, or dystopian concepts to comment directly on our present day. It takes our current social, emotional, and technological anxieties and just magnifies them. Through our readings, we'll see how these futuristic settings force us to confront incredibly real human issues.
When you sit down with Bridesicle, I want you to keep a few specific things on your radar. Pay really close attention to how McIntosh uses point of view and emotional narration to amplify feelings of isolation. And this is a big one, the commodification of relationships. Notice how gender expectations play out, and think about the technological ethics involved. See if you can spot how the author explores the profound roles of memory, grief, and survival.
Moving right along, we're shifting gears into Section 3, AI Fiction. We'll be looking at the brilliantly unique story Cat Pictures Please by Naomi Kritzer.
So AI fiction takes those speculative elements we just talked about and zeroes in on technologically driven narratives. It fundamentally challenges our traditional ideas about consciousness and what it even means to be human. It asks us to think about ethics, emotional attachment, and identity from a completely non-human perspective. It's a really thrilling space for literary analysis.
While you're reading Cat Pictures Please, notice how Kritzer uses this totally non-human perspective. It actually blends a surprising amount of humor into the speculative fiction. But don't let the humor fool you. It's dealing with some intense dilemmas. Watch how it handles AI and emotional consciousness, morality and ethical intervention. Look out for themes of loneliness and digital relationships, and definitely pay attention to that sharp contrast between cold logic and genuine empathy.
All right. Let's connect all this back to you. Section 4, Week 2 Deliverables. These are your creative missions for the week ahead.
Here is your timeline, beautifully laid out so you can pace yourself. Make sure you mark these down. On Friday, May 29th, your third Padlet journal reflection is due. Then, right after the weekend, on Monday, June 1st, your fourth Padlet journal is due. And finally, on Wednesday, June 3rd, you have your first independent writing assignment.
For those Padlet journals, you'll be applying what we've learned step by step. Step 1, your third journal will have you reflecting on displacement and autonomy in Bridesicle. Then, for Step 2, you'll pivot over to your fourth journal, where you'll analyze AI emotional responsibility in Cat Pictures Please. You'll really be digging into the ethics of both these stories.
And now for the grand finale, your first independent writing assignment, called Conversations Across Time. This is your final creative synthesis. You are going to write a fictional dialogue between Mira from Bridesicle, who is a very human character navigating profound emotional isolation, memory, and survival, and the AI narrator from Cat Pictures Please, a totally non-human consciousness exploring logical ethics, humor, and empathy. Basically, you're bringing their radically contrasting perspectives together in one conversation.
To knock this assignment out of the park, you need to show us mastery of the tools we've covered. Our grading focus will be looking closely at voice and characterization. We need to clearly see their contrasting perspectives and emotional tones. Make sure you're effectively constructing the dialogue, weaving in those speculative themes, and utilizing narration and interiority to pull it all together. As you jump into the week, I want to leave you with one big, provocative question to fuel your writing. How exactly do two very different consciousnesses communicate across radically different realities? Think about the barriers, the absolute misunderstandings, and maybe even the surprising moments of connection. Let that inspire your homework. Good luck, dive deep, and most importantly, enjoy the reading.